All right, guys, I am doing my final recap of the regular season, week 18, where we played the Miami Dolphins. We beat them 38-10. This was a really exciting game for me just because my stepdad is a hardcore Dolphins fan, and I have a few friends that are Dolphins fans. And so, very fun that we beat them because if we hadn't, I would have heard about it. But I was nice and I did not give my stepdad that much of a hard time. I hardly gave him a hard time at all. I was being very respectful of his feelings because 38-10, that was very exciting. And it was a very run heavy day. We didn't do much passing. He only threw for 191 yards, which is not his typical yardage, but our defensive tackle Milton Williams came back, our left tackle Will Campbell came back, and so that was an exciting thing to see. That something that we've struggled with all year was running the football, that we actually had a pretty great run game on Sunday. And I don't know if it was because it was the last game of the season and the Dolphins just didn't care anymore or what, but we ran well. And our first drive of the series, we hit it 3 plays. Ramondre Stevenson breaks one for like 59 yards. Travion Henderson runs it in for a rushing touchdown. And then Ramondre Stevenson had himself a day because he had 3 touchdowns, 2 rushing, 1 passing. That was the only touchdown that Drake May threw all day. And they got it into field goal range. Like there were some weird plays, and I feel like this happens every week where the Patriots have some like weird plays, but they've got a minute left to go in the first half, and they march it down the field, get into field goal range. They go to kick it, and the field goal by Borregales is blocked. And it wasn't his fault. It was just poor protection. And they let a guy come off the line completely unhindered, and he blocks the field goal. And the Dolphins score a field goal with 32 seconds left in the half. And then the Patriots get the ball back, march it down the field, 3 seconds left, score Borregales' longest field goal, I think, of his career. It was 59 yards in the cold on Sunday at Gillette Stadium, and we get that field goal back. So they came out that same play, actually, they came out, ran the same exact protection, but this time the special teams picked up the protection correctly and did not allow a block. And Borregales ended up kicking his longest field goal of his career. And then we came out in the second half and we just dominated. And Ramondre Stevenson, great ball protection, had himself a game. Our both running backs, like Ramondre Stevenson had 3 touchdowns, Travion Henderson had 2 touchdowns. We had 5 touchdowns in all. And Stephon Diggs got his 30 yards for $500,000. Hunter Henry got his catch. They let Josh Dobbs throw him the 1 catch that he needed to get his incentive. I think he got like $250,000. And then Kayla Von Chasen sacks the quarterback, gets his incentive. So I don't remember a game in the past where players were allowed to like pick up incentives and be really excited about it. So that was a fun element to a football game that I, as a Patriots fan, have not experienced before, because I feel like Bill Belichick didn't really care about. I mean, they did incentive-laden contracts. I don't think they were allowed to celebrate getting their incentive. So it was really fun to see the extra pep in the step of the players when they got their money. And it was just, I was a little bummed that we did not pad Drake May's stats for his MVP race, because that's what the Rams were doing on Sunday. They were padding Matt Stafford's stats for his MVP bid. And I do think Matthew Stafford will win MVP because I don't think the MVP is truly about the most valuable player on the team. I just think it's the player with the gaudiest touchdowns to interceptions ratio and nothing else. Because if you line up Matthew Stafford and Drake May, the only thing that he beats him in is like touchdowns and one other thing that I can't remember. But maybe Drake May will. I would rather Drake May be a Super Bowl MVP than a league MVP. And we won. We finished 14-3, and so did the Broncos. Which, did you really think they were going to beat the Chargers without Justin Herbert? Although the Chargers did give them quite a hard time with their backups, and that just makes me wonder a little bit about how good the Broncos are. But we'll see when we meet them in the AFC Championship, because that's what everyone's predicting, and I would not be mad at it, especially if we win and we win the Super Bowl. Because the one reason, I mean, as a football fan, that is the goal, to win a Super Bowl, but I would love for them to win the Super Bowl just because everyone's been crying about strength of schedule. And when they see a good team, they're just going to get exposed. And so I'd love for them to win the Super Bowl, and then everyone just has to shut up. But we play the Chargers tomorrow night, prime time. This is Drake May's first primetime game. This is like 12 of the guys' first playoff game. So hopefully we make it all the way so that we get Mac Hollins back, because I kept calling him Mac Jones last week, and I don't know why. That was frustrating. But Mac Hollins, we get him back. Robert Spillane should be back tomorrow, and we saw what a difference having Milton Williams back made to our defense on Sunday, and that was like one of the best run defense games that we've had in a while. Granted, the Dolphins didn't have Achane, and so they didn't have their number one running back, but Milton Williams played 25 snaps, and he made a huge difference because he then had to be double teamed, which opened up other guys. And when they did run his direction, he stuffed the run for a loss. He got excited. It was exciting to see. It was great to see Will Campbell back. This was actually his biggest injury that he's ever dealt with in his career ever. So it was good to see that he came back, that it didn't affect him mentally. And he played, I think, from start to finish that game. They did not play Milton Williams as much, but by the fourth quarter, the game was so out of hand that we had all the starters pulled, and it was Josh Dobbs and backups. Efton Chisholm had a great play on Sunday, and it was like my favorite play of the game because they pass. Drake May hands the ball off to TreVeyon Henderson. TreVeyon Henderson, usually you do a flea flicker and it's like you immediately toss it back. But TreVeyon Henderson took a couple steps, turned back around. Drake May's literally just chilling. He throws the ball back to Drake May, who then throws it to Efton Chisholm, who reminded me so much of Julian Edelman. And I think it's the red gloves, because I don't remember a short white receiver with red gloves since 2019 when Julian Edelman was last on the team before he retired to injuries. But he caught that ball very Julian Edelman-esque and took off, and it's just fun to see the young guys coming along. And we have a matchup with the Chargers tomorrow. I hope we win. This is the National Football League. It could go any direction. You just don't know. And what will be interesting is that this is a West Coast team who's coming to the East Coast to play outdoors in a potentially bad weather game. We'll see. We're supposed to have tonight into tomorrow a wintry mix here in Connecticut, so I don't know what it's going to be like in Foxborough, but we could see an injured Justin Herbert in the cold. How might that play out? And we could be winning the wild card round and going on to the divisional round. So we will see. I will say, don't like this playoff setup with games that they have now because they added the extra game in on the season. I don't love it. I miss the top 2 seeds having a bye week. That was always like a really nice thing because as a Pats fan, we were typically we were the first seed, but honestly, the Patriots were undefeated on the road this year, so I do not mind having to go on the road to play Denver or whatever else happens next week, or Denver in the AFC Championship. But we won 14-3. I can't believe it. Nobody could believe it. We have a second-year quarterback who struggled all throughout training camp in the preseason. Nobody could have predicted that our quarterback would have an MVP caliber season. We'd win the AFC East. We'd take the number 2 seed, and we'd be in the playoffs. So, all in all, this season has been fantastic, and I loved it. This has been so fun, and I love that we ended on such a great note, beating the Dolphins. Because all my Dolphins friends fans suck it. So now we go on to the playoffs, and I hope I have 4 more videos to go. But go Pats!